Hi, I'm Jane and Mel, and we're two members of Platform, a London-based artist and activist group who works on human rights issues, social justice and environmental campaigning. There are 10 of us, so we're just two of us here today, and we're here to talk to you about two examples of interaction with government that we thought would be interesting for this context of the Creative Time Summit. The first thing we'd want to talk about a little bit, which may be specific to this country, is there's a huge fashion at the moment for galleries to take interest in the artist as activist, or the artist as socially engaged practitioner. This is quite problematic. I'm sure you're all very aware of that. And we have sort of been slightly pulled into this question in the gallery context in the past year in a way that has kind of taught us a lot about how those institutions operate. I should explain that usually we don't work with the galleries. We don't have a history of working with galleries. All our practice tends to be on the street or in the site of the campaign. It could be a bank, it could be a corporate headquarters. It almost never is in galleries. So we were invited by Arnolf Feeney, which is quite one of the leading contemporary art centres in this country, to take over their quite big gallery last year in the run-up to COP15, the Conference of the Party on Climate Change, and which was a very kind of adventurous invitation from them. And after lots of discussion, concerns about this public art gallery and what would we do in it and how would we operate within that context, because we don't operate within those contexts, we decided to take it over and fill it with our networks. And we programmed over 2 months of events, workshops, teach-ins, films, etc. And also created 7 commissions for artist activist groups. And what we wanted to do was create a hubbub in the gallery, and a messy hubbub in the gallery, not a neat, tidied up, postmodern, ironic hubbub in the gallery. And that's what we did. 2 of our commission groups, which is the first case study we want to introduce you to, had decided in their proposal that they were going to use the opportunity at our project, C Words, carbon capital climate culture, to create work which then they would take to Copenhagen. In other words, they saw no distinction between their practice as artist activists in the gallery or on the streets in urging, protesting, blocking, resisting what were going to be quite dodgy talks in Copenhagen. Those two groups are the Laboratory of Insurrectionary Imagination and the Institute for the Art and Practice of Dissent at Home. This seemed to cause a media furore, and The Guardian, which is one of our quality newspapers, had a whole headline about this, and it went kind of viral. Before we knew it, we were being covered in the Hindu Times. Art's money used to disrupt Copenhagen talks. And I guess what I want to say is the naivety of the gallery system to think that that's not going to happen if you genuinely invite activists into your world. And secondly, it's not arts money belonging to the government. It's taxpayers' money distributed by the Arts Council England. The whole thing was an example of the kind of nonsense of rhetoric within government about whose government it is. And I wanted to flag that one up because it comes up all the time, especially with this fashion for arts and activism in the gallery. Deeply problematic. But actually, this is not the most interesting thing we want to talk to you about. So we're going to talk to you about the next project.
Which kind of is building on this thing of, well, if politically or socially engaged art is really to do that, then it's not just about, sort of talking about it. It's really about getting out there and doing some of it. So one of the projects that we've been working on for almost 10 years now is trying to get big cultural institutions in London to stop taking oil sponsorship. And this whole debate has really come to a head recently, since the Gulf of Mexico spill that BP was responsible for, and with the upcoming cuts in public art spending here in the UK. So over the past 10 years, we've worked closely with different groups who have been active on this issue, including a group called Art Not Oil, who have been attending arts events and asking the institutions to stop accepting the oil sponsorship for quite a long time now. More recently, a group called Liberate Tate has started to create performance interventions in gallery spaces, and there's one of their pieces that we'd like to show you just now. So if I think you have the link there already, in case you don't, this is it. And if you just put us on pause for a moment and go and watch that other video, then you can come back to us after that. Okay. So if you're back with us now, I hope you enjoyed watching that. So I think one of the things that's really interesting about what they do is go into the gallery and create criminal damage, but beautifully. And they're being very clear about why they're targeting the art institutions for it. And what we see as the crucial issue here is that these art galleries and all the artists' work that is put up in there and exhibited, the beauty and the value of that, and the sort of the acceptability and the kind of public value that is held in those institutions, is then passed over to the oil corporations as a way for them to hide the destructive nature of their work. It gives them this license to spill and to create destruction. It gives them a social license to operate. And that's why we think that artists and these arts institutions should stop backing the oil companies in this way, should stop accepting their sponsorship and thus giving back this face, this facade of acceptability. So earlier this month, we've had various bits of contact with the Tates, trying to discuss with them why they're accepting this money. We've been receiving back various letters with lots of redactions for what they can't tell us. So they're hiding and covering up a lot of what's actually going on internally. Previously this year, together with 171 artists, a letter was put in the Guardian, that same newspaper, calling for the Tates to stop accepting BP sponsorship. And we're going to continue arguing this case from different angles over the coming year, and we hope to see some change in this legislative art.
And we would love to talk to any artists who are US based, or indeed anywhere in the world, who are also really concerned about increasing corporate sponsorship of the arts, specifically oil sponsorship of the arts and culture, it's got to stop. So get in touch with us. info@platformlondon.org. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.